There is a reason why I talk about education, as I'm 63 and I had the ability to go back to school with each one of my sons. And each one was so very different. My oldest one was gifted in gait. My middle child was non-specific disability. And my youngest, they said, was severely mental retarded and communication handicap, and just wouldn't benefit from public education. I said, really? I knew he was very intelligent, and I said, we'll see. He graduated with a one-on-one aid, a laptop, and above proficient, meaning that he graduated using a laptop and the use of Google Classroom. And I'm going to tell you something about education that you might not know as a parent, and that is that it was not intended to fail your children. So if your children are not benefiting, I suggest that it's because you don't understand that failure was never an option. As a free and appropriate public education has to do with analyzing the children, measuring their benefit, ensuring access. And if they don't have access, then they're in the most restrictive placement. And if they're in restrictive placements, well, the federal government frowns upon that. And children have a right to benefit. So, living and coming to Las Vegas 3 years ago was just amazing, as I could not understand how the schools were operating. So many children had limited access. Limited access meaning that a child wouldn't start school until perhaps the age of 7, the legal age of 7 years old. And I'm saying, wow, early Head Start? No Head Start? And they didn't have an additional Head Start programs here simply because they had violated the process. And I figured out that they violate the process all the time. It's just something that's natural for these people, as they don't fill out forms. And as they're finding out now that before the American Rescue money gets released, that they'll fill out the applications, because there is an application process, and it's more than just in numbers. And then I looked at the budget, and they have this additional money for special, it's like a tragedy out there in the rural schools area where they have all this hardship of special education and twice the amount of money that they're spending on the children who they're removing from their homes, as they use the judicial influence to remove children and, marijuana or drugs or whatever issues the family have. I'm just really trying to understand how those families get services, because I don't see any service providers. There are tons and tons and tons of people who provide behavioral transformation, but has nothing to do with educational transformation or support. I just don't understand it. But I can guarantee you that we're all going to learn at the same time, as they were so concerned last night at the board meeting about this critical race theory. And I'm just trying to understand why it's so concerned. They don't want their children growing up understanding how ugly it was in America for children who look like me. And they don't, I don't even get it anymore. Simply, we had to listen to George Floyd cry for his mother and know that that man was going to ultimately take his life because he could. Not that he should, but he could. And in America, we need to understand, why is it that every year so many children of color don't graduate? It being the only option for lifetime skills and lifetime sustainability. But we pay people to ensure that children have access. And there are laws around access and laws around services and measurements and all this other stuff. But then when they don't even look to see if the system is truly broken, who are we as Americans? So, I'm banned. I'm on this Facebook restriction. because somebody could. They don't like me. They say they're preventing me from being mischievous. Mischievous was the word that they used, and I'm saying, wow, what did I do? But ultimately, there was a post from 2018, and it showed up on my desktop one day, and I'm saying, wow, that's strange. They wanted me to take it down, and I'm saying, well, no, that was from a long time ago. I'm not even on that same realm, but I still feel the same way. Black people should never forget that they hanged us in America, that they enslaved us in America, and that we are due some reparations, as they know who are, where our lineage comes from. And they're the only ones America knows, because they keep all the birth records. Duh. So they know who you're linked to. They do. They're not telling you, but they know who you're linked to. But in America, when we are all citizens, we have an ultimate responsibility to question the public services that are provided in our local community. And as for the public school system failing, well, that's just unacceptable. It should not be failing for our children. And so there are legal remedies. But there are evaluations and assessments that must happen and that you have a right to have. And all you have to do is write a little letter and send it to your little principal. Because failing grades are not acceptable. And I'll say that one more time. Failing grades are not acceptable. Failure should not be an option in public education. Sometimes it's crazy. Technology. Well, it's enjoyable. I hope you enjoy it, and understand that we are not looking for anyone anymore. We have arrived. It is time for us to be heard. And failure for our children, well, the dollars need to make sense, and we need to measure the benefit of services. So I'll say, look, until we meet again, have a great day.